The low point of black-red is shattering. AfD profits massively. The black-red coalition under Chancellor Friedrich Merz is finished. It has not only failed, it is breaking apart. The latest Sunday trend from the opinion research institute INSA is a historical low point, a political revelation. The governing parties are plummeting. And who is the laughing third party that is massively benefiting from this total collapse? The AfD. It is solidifying its position as the strongest force and is marching unstoppably towards the 30% mark. Is this the end of the March government? To understand the full explosive dimension of this political earthquake, we must look at the horrific figures that INSA collected for Bild am Sonntag. The coalition of the Union and the SPD together reaches only 38%, the worst value since taking office. The Union is losing and stands at 24%. The SPD sinks to 14%. At the same time, the AfD maintains its record value of 26%. In other surveys, such as that of Forza, it is even more clearly ahead with 27%. The government has exhausted itself, and the AfD profits massively. The reason? The citizens see through the coup against democracy as it took place in Ludwigshafen and give their answer at the ballot box. The figures, which the opinion research institute INSA collected between September 29th and October 2nd among 1186 TZ voters, are more than just a survey. They are a requiem. The devastating verdict in the source text is that the government of March has never been more unpopular than it is now. The low point is total. CDU-CSU only 24% won. The Chancellor's Party and freefall SPD only 14% won. The former People's Party has withered into a splinter party. The coalition together only 38%. Far from any majority, a government at the end. Personally, I can only say that for me, this government is really finished. To put it bluntly, the commentator says what millions are thinking. Meanwhile, the opposition parties are stabilizing or even gaining ground. AfD holds its record value of 26%. The left gains 1 point and reaches 12%. The Greens lose 1 point and stand at 11%. The political landscape in Germany is eroding. The center is breaking away, the fringes are getting stronger, and the government seems paralyzed, unable to react to this dramatic development. Friedrich Merz, the chancellor who set out to halve the AfD, has to watch as they overtake and declass him. His plan to take tougher action against the AfD, his big offensive that he announces, looks like the last desperate struggle of a drowning man. Especially the awakened people in the East, they are not going back to the CDU, is the apt analysis. The train has really left. You might fall for this voter fraud from March once, but certainly not a second time. While the decline of the government in the nationwide surveys is already dramatic, a real sensation is taking place in a Western German state. A development that has the potential to redraw the political map of the entire republic. These are Eastern values for the AfD, but in Western Germany, in Rhineland-Palatinate, the land of the coup against democracy. In Ludwigshafen, the AfD is exploding in the polls. The new INSA survey for the state is a political tsunami. The ruling SPD of Minister-President Malu Dreyer plummets from 36% into the abyss and is overtaken by the AfD. I ask you, have you ever seen such gains by a party? Has the AfD really become the absolutely new People's Party from the small niche party in the West? What is the reason for this explosion? The answer is clear. It is the direct response of the citizens to the undemocratic exclusion of the AfD candidate Joachim Paul from the mayoral election in Ludwigshafen. The established parties, above all the SPD, thought they could get away with this coup against democracy so easily. They were mistaken. Now they are getting their comeuppance. The people in Rhineland-Palatinate have understood. If you say, okay, you are not allowed to vote for the AfD in one of our largest cities, we forbid you to do so, then people will vote for the AfD in the next election, where they cannot take the AfD off the ballot paper. The protest, which began in Ludwigshafen with a 70% election boycott, has now spread to the whole country. The attempt to undermine democracy has led to a strengthening of the only real opposition party. Joachim Paul, himself the defrauded candidate, sees this meteoric rise as the immediate reaction to his election exclusion. The SPD in the state parliament, according to his thesis, is in sheer panic. The rise of the AfD in Germany is not an isolated phenomenon. It is part of a global patriotic wave, a wave of reason that is sweeping across Europe, Czech Republic. Andrej Babiš, framed by the Süddeutsche Zeitung as a right-wing populist, won the election by a landslide. Italy, Giorgia Meloni, is governing successfully. Finland, a patriotic government is in office. Netherlands, Geert Wilders is facing a triumphant comeback. Meanwhile, one must also say, how can these countries all be right-wing populist? The commentator rightly asks. Isn't it much more obvious, dear German media, that Germany is simply far too left-wing, and that is why everything is right-wing populist from your point of view? The rise of the AfD is the normalization of Germany. It is the return to reason in a country that has been led to the brink of the abyss by left-wing green ideologues. The panic of the establishment is therefore understandable. They see their power dwindling, their narratives crumbling, their once so powerful concepts crumbling. Europe, democracy, tolerance are losing their magic. They sense that the old incantations no longer work, that the moral monopoly they have arrogated to themselves for decades is slipping away from them. And they react like all those who lose their supremacy, with fear, with anger, with repression. You can see it everywhere. In the parliaments where unwelcome speakers are shouted down, in the talk shows where the same faces repeat the same phrases, in the media which immediately declare anyone who dares to have a different opinion to be a danger to democracy. And last but not least, on the streets of Ludwigshafen, where political opponents are fought with legal maneuvers and official chicanery instead of engaging with their arguments. This is not strength. This is end-stage desperation. But the citizens see through this game. They see that what is being sold to them as a fight against the right is in truth a fight against any form of opposition. They recognize that the firewall that is supposed to protect democracy has in truth become a wall against their own people. And they are beginning to fight back, quietly but unstoppably, at the ballot box, on the net, in the municipalities. The government of Black-Red is breaking apart. The AfD is profiting massively. What does this mean for the future of Germany? It means that a political turnaround is no longer just a vague hope. It has become a real, tangible possibility. Experts predict that the AfD will soon be able to break the 30% mark. More and more people are calling for new elections because they sense that the current government no longer has any legitimacy. And new elections, according to the analysis, could really bring a result of around 30% nationwide for the AfD. The political turnaround is underway in the polls, in the minds of the people, and soon also at the ballot boxes. The low point of the government is not the end. It is the beginning of the end of the old encrusted party rule and the beginning of a new, hopeful future for Germany.